Hello, I'm John Joe. Welcome to Line War. Today we have a battle with Scornful versus Mtitan. I have just watched another match. I'm not sure how I release these. Hopefully I'll release them in the right order. But I'll just turn off Fog of War. In the previous match, Scornful won pretty much with a highly organized army over anything else. As you can see in the pick and face, Scornful had this location here, which is a high priority target, I would have thought. It's very likely that a player would pick that location. Mtitan's only spot was in this zone here. So Scorn instead chose this location to start because he knows that Mtitan's going to push this way, leaving his structures vulnerable. I assume that was his plan anyway. We do have a scout going through. I probably wouldn't have done this in this situation. I'm pretty sure that Scorn knows what's going on here in that way. I think that was his plan. But revealing a scout from this direction reveals that you are actually on this side. So it would have been better off to just surprise him rather than trying to scout out what he's doing. I mean, everyone would have their different view on that, but ultimately that's what I would do. Now Mtitan, to be fair, isn't actually responding that much to this. We've got the scout coming in trying to take out a structure here. And they're now on the retreat, I think. But they had more than enough units there to deal with that one, but they haven't retreated any of their other units to this way. Got some running off on a blue line over there. It's bad when I'm on ×2 and they're around, when it's the red player, they're running like that. It kind of reminds me of Mario. Need to watch the green player to see if they look like Luigi. There doesn't seem too much going on elsewhere, but there is a lot of navy potential over here with trade routes in this section and the town and cities. But either way, Scorn does have his own sort of location here with a town and docks. He's not too worried about the industry just yet. And Mtitan's coming in with a black line. I would say maybe too early. That is allowing Scorn to push in a bit and get some damage done for free. And I think he's just trying to get round. And he's just going to walk around it. He's leaving his artillery back, but his infantry are going to go in to try and get some damage behind the front lines there. But this is forcing Mtitan to ignore this barracks over here a bit. He's got a good few units defending it, but focusing on the defense over here is definitely more important than the barracks. But it is kind of leaving it out there as a strain. Did those two Marios come up here and survive? I don't think they did. I think they got taken out. But it seems like Mtitan got the advantage in the early game this time, despite the little ruse going on at the beginning. Sorry. So, yeah, it looks like we haven't got too much going on the ground. Again, I think he's building continuous SAM from this one. It is good to have SAM, but Mtitan hasn't used SAM, hasn't used air units in the previous game and doesn't have access to energy. So I wouldn't worry too much about that in this case, but it could be useful. But especially when you're getting pushed back hard, it's definitely wise to switch into something else, which he's doing. He's getting tanks out, which I don't think you have access to energy. There was one in the south there. Ah, you're getting some. That is a bit safer. We still have the artillery moving in. The SAM are literally just using their machine guns to take out the infantry. They're not very good at it, but they will do their best to do that extra damage to allow it to be finished off easier. And most of the artillery is pushing through in this section here. What are we up against? We've got 2 barracks, 3 factories versus 2 barracks and 3 barracks and 2 factories. Which ironically would mean the opposite we're seeing. We're seeing a lot of infantry coming in from the blue side and a lot of artillery coming in from the red side. Which their production doesn't match that, but still. It's just what units they're willing to push forward with, I guess. As they start digging in, Scorn pushes in again to try and get in that damage. As they are, when they start building the SAMs, they get fatigue damage, so it's usually better to wait, but you don't have enough army there to try and deal with the defences, unfortunately. But Scorn is this time on the defensive in this game. They are capturing a lot of territories in the north, and I don't see Mtitan doing too much capturing. Again, you've got one line coming this way. We could sort of spread it out into multiple lines, maybe 3 in this case. He's going to use them to come back down that way, and he's going to leave this territory out, I think. We have his forces splitting into two. We've got the small defense here, and the rest of the units come around here, spotting a structure they're going to try and go for, I think. They've set a strike command on it, and mostly Sam are defending this zone. Being used pretty much just to body block. And they're stopping the infantry getting anywhere close to that factory. But now we've got the artillery moving in. Because it's a strike command, they are going to ignore the targets on the ground and just set up as close as they can, allowing two to die before they can really fire. Which is unfortunate. It was a good find, just needed to be probably less use than the strike commands. Mostly orange commands for those sort of units. One tank is getting through. Now you want a strike command on that town, and then maybe a blue line away, and that way if you do get into trouble you can delete the strike command and your tank will automatically flee the scene. That would be how I'd use strike commands anyway. Got some artillery on the retreat over here. In fact, actually, Mtitan is completely on the retreat. We've got barracks here under fire from a tank. We're circling around trying to avoid the infantry running through. Literally just trying to kite those infantry around. And we've got pressure coming in from these artillery. They're going to be pushing in right through, threatening this zone here. That tank's heavily damaged. At this point, I think I'll just expand with that tank down here, because tanks can take territory pretty fast. And being so heavily damaged, it's not going to take long for it to get destroyed. With the offense here being mostly artillery, they're going to be able to do a lot of damage in this section. The infantry are coming in through this way, which is a complete gap. Coming in at the side of the defense, which is negating that bonus for defense. But Scorn has forgotten about some of these units up here, I think. I think they're still capturing. He's alright. And now he's created a nice gap on this black line, which means he's pushing his units through this way. And the enemy's units are just going to keep coming to this black line. I think when you're building your defences, you need them in sections. You need like 1, 2, and then maybe 3, or through this way. However you want to do it. But smaller sections, so that when one line gets deleted, you can just like set up an orange line to defend that. And generally speaking, you don't want too many gaps, even when you're trying to fill it up in this situation. So now we've got the orange lines. These are good lines when you're being actually actively attacked, because the units will come towards this location, like this one here, will move it in. As soon as it has an enemy in sight, it will start shooting. If this was a black line, they wouldn't do that. They'd just run in there and set up here. The blue lines and black lines are worse for the artillery as they're moving in, because they need to set up to fire, but the other units aren't too bad. So it's definitely something you have to be really careful with in regards to artillery. We've got a tank on the back lines there, close to the town, deciding not to go for the town. We do have 2 exposed areas here. I think Mtitan's just literally retreating over here, setting up some production in the forest here, and they're going to be defending this location instead. Which isn't too bad. There is still a lot of territory to be gained, like with the waters and the trade routes, the cities, towns. Mtitan could still have a good play there. But it might take a bit of recovery. Just checking out the other choke point down there is fine. I'm just seeing what else Scorn's doing, because Scorn is on the advantage right now. He's got a very good situation. Instead of trying to improve your attacking situation, you could just try to improve your economy. So we've got the industries here, and he's got enough money to buy both of these industries, and then he'll have to save up for the city. But is there anything else around the map? I'm not sure. I think that's all that Scorn actually has in regards to eco. And we've got the defences slowly being built. See, we've got 3 lines here. We should have started with 1, then the next, and then the next, once it starts filling up, because you've left gaps in this. Luckily, Scorn doesn't want to take advantage of that and is building their own defence instead. But plans, by the looks of it, to go in through the south with a different force. And to be fair, it's defended with mostly infantry down here. So if they do set up the same sort of black lines and dig in... I know these aren't black anymore, but that's just a visual glitch in the replays. These are meant to be black lines, and the replays just aren't noticing it. As you can see, they're digging in. These units are going to pretty much just stand still as they take the shots from these artillery, unless Mtitan actively does something to change that. Is Mtitan doing it? He's left a territory. There's one missing right in the middle there as well, which is unfortunate. But Mtitan's only way of survival here, I think, would be to get these trade routes set up. And it won't be long until Scorn has that area as well. He's going for it with the transport boats. And he'll have quite a few trade routes, because there's a dock's there, dock, and dock, and dock. But he won't be able to get that one, to be fair. They are now approaching the defences down here, which I don't think Mtitan's actually going to respond to this. Also, because they're in mountains, it would have been better maybe to push it back. I think he just wanted more units out there on the front line defending it. But you definitely are having an advantage with artillery in this section here. All the units are funneled into a smaller area. And because it's the mountains, they're slowed down. And I think you get extra range with artillery on defences. But I'm not 100% sure on that. Let me know if you know. So yeah, I think Scorn just plans to hold this line and push in through this section here. Right, Scorn has his transport boat, but it's just taken the territory right now. And he has noticed it, and he's put it on a blue command. He's getting over there as soon as possible, because that's Mtitan's next move, or it should be, to try and build up their eco. Let's have a look at the eco difference right now. So we're on 1,200 for Scornful, and Mtitan is on 600, so Scorn is on double Mtitan right now. And I think, I'm not sure, but I think he's just about to explode in economy with this area. But hey, Mtitan is aware of this one here. He is going to be trying to set up something over there. It looks like that's his escape plan. There is actually another one over on this side as well, but this is just not that worth... It's not really worth it to grab that one. It's always worth getting the territories, but I mean, like, as a stronghold, it's not that great. Most of the defences of Mtitan in the south section of this choke point is actually going through it pretty well. Setting up another defensive line like this, nice little curve though as they come through, but I think that's a bit too dense of a curve. You might want it a bit smoother, and as they come through they're going to be hit by multiple targets, but I can see what you're going for there. And there we go, we've got the transport boat out in this on an orange command, so he's still going to be capturing that territory, and he's ready with a rush over onto that side. Does Mtitan actually have energy? Yes. They got two. So they should be fine for energy. But he's just going to find out that Scorn has beaten to it on that island as well. The good thing about the location in the south is there's 3 energy wells. But yeah, that's about it, I think. So I think what's going to call the battle is when Mtitan realizes that he's not the first one to this location here. As the units are pushing through, he's got more than enough army to take on this defense, I think. And we've got the helicopters there. There is, again, no anti-air. See, I think Scornful starts the game with too much anti-air, but I can understand why. But when you scout the enemy as well and see no anti-air, see no air units, I think that should give it away that you could probably invest a bit more in artillery for a little while. And Mtitan doesn't invest enough in anti-air. because it would be worth it just to have some an air unit, anti-air flower there and maybe on the other one. And that'd be all you need just to start with, just in case you encounter any air units. But there we go. Mtitan probably saw, like I said, that area up there was captured and quit the game with nowhere to run. Thank you for watching. Let me know what you thought of that match, or giving advice out or anything like that. There are 2 videos on screen right now. Feel free to click on one and I'll see you there. Thanks for watching.